Thank you for coming. I'll get started now because this is usually kind of a long program, and I know that everybody has something to do at 1 o'clock, so we're going to get going now. My name is Tom Benson. I'm the Executive Director of Arts Missoula. Thanks for everyone for coming out today. And how about a hand for our musicians? Lana Reitzel on alto sax, Finn Carroll on the bass, and Sam McKenzie on the set. They are members of the UM Jazz Band number 1. Hey. Thanks so much, you guys. Thank you again, and I want to start off by making a few thank yous this annual lunch. Thanks, first of all, to the Doubletree Hotel, Manager Dan Monahan, along with Callie Asham and Ann Brown and the staff. They do a great job. Thank you very much. Don't forget to get dessert, if you haven't already. It's over there at the table. And thank you to our major sponsors for this event. That's Montana Event Services and the UC Gallery at the University of Montana, Flaherty Financial Services, Logjam Presents, and Portico Real Estate. Thank you to all of you guys. I also want to recognize some officials today, representing the Mayor of Missoula, Ginny Merriam. Ginny is here somewhere. There she is. All right. Thanks, Ginny. We have County Commissioners Dave Strohmeyer and Gene Curtis with us today. Thank you. Deborah Franson is here representing Senator John Tester. And Cinda Holt is from the Montana Arts Council, and she made it here today. I also want to recognize the Arts Missoula Board of Directors. They all work hard all year long. As those of us in the room who serve on boards know that there's something expected of you when you serve on a board. And I want to recognize all the board members. If you could stand, if you're here. Greg Boris, Katie Patton, Laura Bovard, John Combs, Gwen Landquist, Mickey Fredrickson, Ine Todd, Jackie Wallawander, Robin Chakota, Greg Johnson, and Heidi Starrett. Also want to thank the table sponsors that are listed in the program in front of all of the seats, and I want to thank Advanced Litho Printing for donating the program today. Thanks also to Jonathan Qualvin taking photographs. He's official, so there he is. Thanks, Jonathan. And I want to thank Jasmine Raymond and the Clay Studio of Missoula. All these table settings are from artists at the Clay Studio. And not only are they fun to look at, they're also available for sale. If anybody would like to take one home, there's a price attached somewhere, and I guarantee all the money goes to the artists themselves. So thank you to the Clay Studio. Got a great staff at Arts Missoula. Matt Anglin is our program director, Brianna McLean, our public art coordinator, and Jacqueline Snow is the director of Spark. Let's have a hand for all of them. And make sure you hang on to that blue raffle ticket and you have to stay through the whole program, because at the end of the program, we're going to raffle off these nice prizes that are right up here on this table in front. So before we get going with the awards, one of the things I do is kind of give a year in review, a state of the arts in Missoula, and to let you know what we've been up to this past year and what we have planned for the future. First, before I get into what's going on with Arts Missoula, I wanted to highlight a couple of exciting developments that our office has nothing to do with, but it's certainly worth mentioning as it's good news for arts in Missoula. And the first is that the Missoula Art Park is going to open in less than a month, and that is a really cool thing. I think it opens on Earth Day, if I'm correct, which is fitting. This is a great collaboration between the Missoula Art Museum, Adventure Cycling, and the City of Missoula. It's going to showcase a changing display of sculpture, host cultural and educational events, and provide more green space in the heart of the city for specific events or just hanging out on a nice, beautiful day. And are we ready for a nice, beautiful day? Also coming soon is a new 4,000-seat amphitheater in Bonner. That's opening up this summer. Thanks to another collaboration. This is a business partnership between Kettle House Brewing Company and Log Jam Presents. The opening show is in July. Actually, there's a new opening show. I just read in the paper this morning. I Love It is going to be coming here in July. The old opening show, which is happening a couple of days later, Ween, has already been sold out of the 4,000 seats. This major building project is just one more attraction that is helping to make Missoula a cultural destination and coincides with a lot of changes that are going on downtown. For instance, there are 2 hotels that are being planned going on downtown. So the expansion of cultural tourism has a great effect on Missoula itself. And to be a part of it, to be a big cultural destination means attracting big name performers. And we have had or will have soon 3 big name performers happening at 3 different venues. How about that? Elton John was at the Adams Center earlier this month. Paul Simon is coming to Allegiance Field in June, and the Decemberists, with a local favorite son, Colin Malloy, is part of a recently announced Indie Fest at the Big Sky Brewery in August. So there's a lot of exciting things going on in the entertainment world in Missoula as well. But now on to Arts Missoula specifically. One of the big changes we had was a big identity change this year. We changed our name from Missoula Cultural Council to Arts Missoula with the help of Steve Robertson of Full Moon Concepts and Carter Andrews of Talent West. It's proven to be a good move. For years, people would say, Missoula Cultural Council, what is it that you do? Now they say, oh, Arts Missoula. Arts Missoula, that's what you do. So it's been a good move that way. I mentioned that a lot of the citywide projects that are collaborative, such as the Art Park and the amphitheater, in another project in which we are very much involved is SPARK, Arts Ignite Learning. This is the most successful arts collaboration that I've ever been a part of, and includes the City of Missoula, Missoula County Public Schools, College of Visual and Performing Arts, organizations, artists, media, philanthropic organizations, all pushing this initiative forward. This is the Kennedy Center initiative for increasing and enhancing arts education for every student in MCPS, and it's now in its 3rd year of programming. The national initiative is for K through 8, but in Missoula we have determined that we're going to take it K through 12. So we're actually ahead of the Kennedy Center on this one. Spark has 3 main components. Art for Art's Sake, which is more FTE art teachers in art and art classes at MCPS, and they're determined to increase. They actually did increase that when we began this program. Arts Enhancement, which means more arts experiences outside of the classroom, such as visiting museums, attending music, dance, theater productions, or film festivals. And Arts Integration, which is integrating art into other mainstream subjects, using art to help with math, science, languages, social studies, and we always love jargon, and so we're moving from STEM to STEAM. That's what the whole idea of arts integration is. This year we've provided arts enhancement experiences for every student in K through 8, and we have brought arts integration into every K through 8 classroom. There are 20 communities in this Kennedy Center initiative, and many are still looking for one arts enhancement and one arts integration, and we've done it in every classroom, so we have a lot to be proud of that way. Spark has scheduled 75 artist residencies in this school year. We have scheduled 700 additional hours of arts education in our classrooms, and we have budgeted $85,000 for arts integration and arts education program. That gets paid to teaching artists and to organizations. So along with providing more arts education for our students, we are also providing employment opportunities for artists. So Spark is benefiting a lot of folks here. And don't forget, if you don't know right now, that on May 5th, first Friday, Cinco de Mayo, the Wilma Theater will be hosting a Spark showcase. So during First Friday, if you want to find out a little bit more about Spark, come to the Wilma Theater May 5th. Learn all about it. The Arts Missoula staff and board have worked all through 2016 to collect data for the latest arts and economic prosperity study with Americans for the Arts. This national report with Missoula statistics will be released in June. The last report in 2012 showed Missoula having a $40 million nonprofit arts industry, which is nearly 4 times larger than the average cities of our size. And I suspect this trend will continue when the report comes out in June, but you'll have to stay tuned in the meantime. So I've been using the word collaboration, and that's kind of how we exist at Arts Missoula, is we feel the need and we want to collaborate with a lot of other people, a lot of other organizations to move things forward. These are some of our collaborative operations right now. We are now the fiscal sponsor for the Montana Book Festival, which attracts 5,000 attendees and 200 authors and presents nearly 30 events over 3 days each fall. We're now working closely with the Missoula Public Art Committee. After more than 20 years as a volunteer committee of the city, we now have paid staff through our office thanks to the city of Missoula. We also have events and activities that highlight our sister city partnerships in Neckargemünd, Germany, and Palmerston North, New Zealand. First Night Missoula is our big New Year's Eve community celebration of the arts that's been happening every year for 23 straight years, and it doesn't happen unless the community wants it and wants to be part of it, and they do. So we keep doing it. So thank you very much to the community for that. We have a new event that started last year, and we have become a fiscal sponsor of honoring our Missoula Community Powwow, which takes place at the fairgrounds in September. And we also work with MissoulaEvents.net with our community calendar, and that provides information that helps with First Friday gallery walks each month. If you want to know more, you can visit that website that's on all of these slides, artsmissoula.org, and you can sign up for our weekly newsletter. So these are things that we want to celebrate and we're very proud of. As I said, we have a great staff, a great board of directors, and great volunteer committees, all working with these programs and initiatives. But as we all know, there's plenty of things to be worried about. And it's hard to know where to begin. Seems there are a lot of people getting in line to object to something that's going on in Washington right now. There's so much that seems at stake at the moment, and much of it is well beyond any argument about arts funding. There's health care, education, environmental protection, I don't know if you read the paper this morning, agriculture, labor, housing, urban development, transportation are all just some of the industries that are seeing major cuts with the proposed federal budget. People are not happy, and as we know, there's just a lot of noise. I jumped too fast. But for us, right now, I want to point out the National Endowment for the Arts, the National Endowment for the Humanities, and the Corporation for Public Broadcasting all support local and regional groups with which we are familiar and all of whom we rely on for our daily lives. I thank Public Radio and Public TV for joining us today. You'll hear more about them next week, I'm sure. They benefit from the Corporation of Public Broadcasting, and Humanities Montana is here as well. They benefit greatly from the National Endowment for the Humanities. And I mentioned Cinda is here with the Montana Arts Council. They get a great deal of their funding from the National Endowment for the Arts. It is gratifying for some of us in the community to speak out, such as former Congressman Pat Williams. I don't know if you read in the paper a week or so ago. He talked about when he was working to save the NEA many years ago and how important arts is in our lives, as well as a great opinion piece in the Missoulian last week by Megan McNamara. Both spoke very eloquently about the importance of art and government support through the NEA grants. I noticed that the columnist George Will got into the act recently with an opinion piece advocating for the defunding of the NEA. I'm not going to get into a war of words with George Will. He knows more words than I do. But I will say that his call for abolishing the NEA as a government frill is just wrong. And it's wrong for several reasons. It's wrong for a lot of reasons, but the one that he might want to listen to is this. The Corporation for Public Broadcasting, the NEA and the NEH, combined budget request is $750 million. That's a lot of money. In the budget, it's not that much. Nationally, the nonprofit arts organizations that might receive this funding represent a $135 billion industry in this country. It represents 4 million jobs and generates over $22 billion in government revenue through taxes. That $750 million investment returns a $22 billion return for the government. Take out all the zeros, and it's kind of like if you had $750 to invest in a mutual fund, and a year later it was worth $22,000, would that be a good thing? If you take a quick look at our national budget, you'll see that we're rather small compared to other industries, but we're not a government frill. What it means is this: we can't take our arts funding for granted, as the political winds can and do shift very rapidly. We need to continually send a message to our political leaders, which is this: investment in the arts and humanities, both public and private, is good for business, it's good for our intellectual and creative development, it's good for our children, it's good for our health, it's good for the soul, and frankly, with $22 billion in government revenue, it's good for the very government that wants to abolish it. We are strong, locally and nationally. In Missoula, we're particularly strong. The economic strength that I mentioned in from our studies, cultural tourism, you've seen the growth in entertainment that's happening right now, and we're a leader in arts education with Spark. So we need to stay strong, we need each other to assure that arts and humanities remain a part of our lives. So the literature and envelopes on your table are there for a reason. Our new brand and tagline says it all. Arts Missoula is where culture lives. In order to advocate for all of us, Arts Missoula needs your help. Given what's happening in Washington, we need it now as much as ever. So I've instructed the Doubletree staff to lock the doors until... Please take home these envelopes. Please take home this literature. Think it over. Sometime this year, ask yourself, if you believe in the economic strength of Missoula's arts and cultural programming, if you enjoy First Night, First Friday at the Montana Book Festival, if you believe in the power of cultural diplomacy through our Sister City program, if you think that public art improves the landscape and beautifies downtown, if you think that arts education is essential to education, then please support Arts Missoula. Thank you very much for that. Please take this stuff out. So I now want to shift gears and get to the heart of our program for today. The tradition of this organization recognizing individuals and businesses dates back to 1999 to honor individuals whose outstanding work in the arts and humanities have made significant contributions to this community's quality of life. In 2004, we began to recognize local businesses with the business support of the arts. In 2010, we expanded our awards program to include artistic programming and cultural visionaries, and a year later, we added awards for individual artists and arts educators. Nominations are open to the public, and awardees are chosen by a vote of the Arts Missoula Board of Directors. The list of awardees over the years includes visual artists, musicians, dancers, writers, actors, administrators, benefactors, community leaders. As a reminder of all of these people and their accomplishments, I like to read the names each year of the previous winners. And with the inevitability of time, sadly many of these folks are no longer with us. Beginning in 1999, the winners of the Cultural Achievement Award have been Joanne Musselman, Joseph Musselman, David Nelson, Terry Conrad, Don Carey, Jim Caron, Monty Dolak, John and Sue Talbot, Teresa Cox, James Welsh, Barbara Thoreau, Jeff Badnock, Cheryl Nothi, Rudy Audio, Gerald Doty, Eugene Andre, Dana Boussard, Juliette Crump, Onyx Smith, Elaine Dolson, Joseph Henry, Jeff Sutton, Lance Boyd, Jody Marshall, Laura Millen, William Kittredge, Ann and Tom Boone, Ray and Susie Risho, James Todd, Pat Williams, Bruce Miklas, Pat and Don Simmons, Jim and Marcy Vallejo, Herbert Swick, Carol Stovall, Kathy Capps, William Marcus, and last year John Driscoll. That's a great list, don't you think? This year, for the Cultural Achievement, we honor Steve Gluckert, local artist and former curator of the Missoula Art Museum. He was nominated by Laura Millen, the director of the Missoula Art Museum, and until recently, his boss. Thanks to the Missoulian for that. Steve came to the Missoula Art Museum as the curator of education in 1992 after 5 years at Paris Gibson Square in Great Falls. He was promoted to senior exhibitions curator in 1998, back when the museum had just 4 employees. As curator of the MAM, Steve has worked tirelessly to bring nationally known works to the MAM, as well as advocating for local and regional artists. Over a 24-year span at the Missoula Art Museum, Steve has helped grow the annual benefit art auction and has started new projects such as the Montana Triennial, a statewide survey of contemporary art. He was also instrumental in MAM's years-long capital campaign and expansion and construction, which was completed in 2006. His curated shows include Ansel Adams, the influential pattern artist Miriam Shapiro, and the pioneering African-American painter Jacob Lawrence. Some installations were quite challenging. Ed and Nancy Keinholz's The Jesus Corner required the removal of part of the exterior wall of the building, for example. He was also responsible for showcasing Montana artists such as Rudy and Leela Audio, Ginny and Josh DeWeese. And remember, at MAM there is always one gallery dedicated solely to Native American art. As mentioned, Steve has been a strong advocate for local and regional artists. In an interview with the Missoulian a year ago, he said, "While it's important to bring in Robert Rauschenberg or pieces that we may never have imagined could be here, it's just as important to show Big Sky High School art class." As many of you know, he's an artist himself and has produced a voluminous amount of work through the years, but until he retired, he didn't exhibit as much as he might have to avoid any conflict of interest. I take a look at his work and I think the best I can come up with is that they are all intricate and thought-provoking gadgets. Sometimes whimsical, other times sobering, but never dull, and they challenge you, which is what art is meant to do. Recently, he's exhibited at MAM, the Radius Gallery, Gallery 709 at Montana Art and Framing, and other galleries. Listening to him at a gallery talk recently, I witnessed a natural-born teacher who demonstrates a true love of art and a belief in its power to transform us all. Throughout his career, he has maintained a deep concern for those disadvantaged. His colleagues refer to Steve as a thoughtful, caring person with a strong moral compass. This selfless sense of community service and deep dedication to art, artists, and art education has always been evident in everything he does. According to Laura Millen, Steve has always maintained an open ear and demonstrated kindness and equanimity to all artists and students of art, willing to serve as a mentor. For his 1 year shy of a quarter-century dedication to Missoula and its art museum, it's a pleasure to present Steve Gluckert with this year's Cultural Achievement Award.
No man is an island, and I think all of us working in the arts understands that nothing is accomplished without teamwork. And I want to thank Laura for the nomination and the Missoula Art Museum for allowing me to be part of their team. There's other organizations here as well. The School of Art, MCAT, Spark, the school district, all of which I have felt I've been welcomed into as part of a team. And the arts don't progress without teamwork. I'm honored to be here with these other nominees, and I can't believe I'm mentioned in the same sentence with these people. I wrote a poem about my hometown, which is Missoula. I was born and raised here. So I'd like to read that as a way of thanking you all for coming today. My father, when we moved away from here, always referred to, man, Missoula has good dirt. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, my hometown. Missoula has good dirt. You know, it used to be a lake bed. People sure argue a lot in my hometown. For change is hard. Damn change is hard. But there is courtesy in my hometown. For the good, the dirt is good there. There are lots of different kinds of people in Missoula. Some with purple mohawks, First Peoples, corner preachers, men in dresses, white kids with dreadlocks, carpenters, policemen, policewomen, architects. Gone for the most part are the loggers, the teepee burners, and the truck farms. Now a place for poets, artists, performers, and dialogue. Lots of dialogue. There is tolerance in my hometown, and the dirt is good there. Sometimes dark things happen in Missoula. Drownings in the river, young girls run over by a drunk driver, a German boy murdered. We are not sane sometimes, and we too have homelessness and hunger. Yet tears wash away those dark clouds, and we will not be overwhelmed. Voices rally and scream for collective goodness. I can count on compassion in my hometown for the dirt that's good there. Memories of childhood linger in Missoula. Before the interstate cut its way through Blackfoot Canyon, across the face of the Greeno Mansion, we would go to the woods to gather berries and mushrooms, wade in the beaver ponds and harvest watercress. Yes, we were better fishermen when we were 12. But I understand now we can grow and have hope in my hometown for the dirt. It's good there. You can fall in love in Missoula. Just look and listen. Witness the metamorphosis. Young people with no dirt under their nails yet, with dreams, reinventing themselves, connecting with passionate work, committed to imaginings of what could be here. One can fall even more deeply in love here. No one makes fun of you because of your dream in my hometown, for the dirt is good there. No one makes fun of you for your dream in my hometown, for the dirt, it's good there. Thank you very much.
The Arts Educator was awarded in 2011 and honors outstanding educator for any age level who has devoted a career to teaching a craft and making a significant impact on this community. Previous winners include Dean Peterson, Carla Getz, Mohan Kartha, Tarn Ream, Lisa Deer, Karen Kaufman, and Dorothy Morrison. This year, Karen Callan, nominated by John Combs, the Director of Fine Arts at Missoula County Public Schools. Karen has been the general music teacher for Missoula County Public Schools since 1979. During that time, she has demonstrated outstanding skills and practice that have encouraged generations of young musicians. She received her bachelor's and master's degrees from the University of Montana with a postgraduate study at the University of Washington in vocal performance. Karen is currently the general music teacher for Paxton Elementary School. She's been in charge of Missoula Children's Choir for the past 21 years. Each year, she rehearses 120 3rd through 5th graders, once a week. The dynamic development of skills culminates each year with a tour to elementary schools in the Missoula area and an evening concert. During her tenure, she has touched the lives of thousands of Missoula children with song and dance. She has frequently collaborated with the University of Montana to provide guidance to students seeking to become music educators. She has been a student teacher and supervisor on numerous occasions. She is highly sought after to provide those services. She's also been an adjudicator and clinic for district music festivals. Her pedagogical techniques and advice for the young voice allow high school students to develop confidence and artistry. In addition to all her teaching and leadership obligations, Karen also maintains her own vocal instrument, having performed in recitals, concerts, and the occasional theater production. Besides being a music teacher for MCPS, Karen has also proven her leadership through the state of Montana and on the national stage. She's been the state president of the Montana General Music Teachers Association and the Montana chapter of the Orff Shoework Teachers. Recently, Karen was given the Leadership Award from the Montana Music Educators Association's Council of Past Presidents for her efforts as the state president. As the MMEA president, she has represented all of Montana's music educators at the state, Northwest, and national level. She was responsible for putting together the State Music Educators Professional Development Conference the past 2 years, and she continues to serve the MMEA as its immediate past president. Karen is passionate about music education and advocates for quality music programs for the students and a strong professional development opportunities for music teachers. In a letter of support, Lori Gray, professor of music education at UM, says this: Karen's musicianship and the love of music positively impact her classroom and the musicianship of her students. She's an outstanding model for all of her students. And that's well put. Karen Cowan.
Thank you so much. I'm so honored, very, very honored, and also quite humbled to be recognized with this award. And I'd like to thank the Arts Missoula for recognizing me in this way, not only because it's an acknowledgement of my involvement in music education these past almost 40 years, but also because it recognizes the art of teaching, and sometimes I think that gets overlooked a little bit. I'm grateful to have had the loving support of my family, especially my husband, Bill Lowney, and my our three sons, Patrick, Brian, and Michael Lowney. And I'm just so thrilled that our son, Brian, and our daughter-in-law, Britt, our son, Michael, who surprised me with this visit from New York City today, our niece and nephew, Kate and Brian Marcial, and our good friends, were able to join me today, so thank you very much for that. Also, very happy to see our brand new Paxton principal, Peter Halloran here. Thank you for joining us. I want to thank my colleagues at Missoula County Public Schools, especially my K-5 general music teacher colleagues, all of whom could not be here today because they're teaching. But I have the utmost admiration for their dedication and service to the children of Missoula. And I'd like to thank John Combs, not only because he nominated me for this, and I appreciate that recognition, but also because he's just giving me so much support, both professionally and personally, for years. So thank you, John. I've always had a rather missionary zeal for the art of teaching music. I grew up in a big Irish Catholic family in Anaconda, Montana, and I attended Catholic schools there through high school. I came of age in the empowering days of Vatican II, which if you are Catholic, you know what that means, and if you aren't, it was a time when the doors of the Catholic Church opened to the people, the layperson in the church, and kind of went from a hierarchical power structure to an opening of everyone come in and share your gifts. And I also came of age in the days of the 60s and 70s where there was a lot of cultural unrest. And the message I got from both of those shaping forces in my life were this: that individual effort and the collective effort of many could change the world. And I believed that. My professors at the University of Montana instilled in me the idea that music education is a vital component, an essential component of educating children. And I entered the teaching profession in 1977 thinking that I could make the world a better place through my job as a music educator. After nearly 40 years of teaching music, that conviction still compels me and has only grown stronger. I believe in the power of music to express our humanity, to connect with each other on a deep level, to experience beauty, and to spread joy throughout the world. I have witnessed the power that music has to transform myself and my students. I've experienced the satisfaction that comes with dedicated practice to communicate a message that is deeper and bigger than words. I've seen my students lose themselves in the music, amazed that our time together has gone by so quickly. And those words, "Can we do it again? Is music class finished already?" are just sweeter words that have never been heard. My heart is just filled with gratitude to have had the opportunity to touch the lives of children and to be touched by them in return as we sing and move and play and create together. It's been my good fortune to teach music in Missoula, Montana, where the arts and arts education are so highly valued. I'm certain that the work of Arts Missoula has helped to shape our community's culture to reflect that value. And I'm humbled by the acknowledgement that my work, in some small way, has helped to do the same. Thank you so much for this Arts Educator Award.
The Individual Artist Award was first given out in 2011 and is presented to someone who has shown exceptional achievement in music, visual art, dance, literature, film, theater, or performance art. Previous winners include Michael Marsalic, David Horgan, Darko Budarets, Beth Lowe, Stephen Kalm, and Kendall Jan Judd. This year, we honor Chuck Florence, nominated by Terry Conrad, former program director at Montana Public Radio and the current host of Jazz Sessions. Chuck has been a part of Missoula's jazz community since the 1980s as a member of the Big Sky Mudflaps, Salsa Loca, the Ed Norton Big Band, Trio Noir, Yamanja's Kitchen, Canta Brazil, and several others. He is also a saxophone teacher to numerous Missoula residents, many of whom have gone on to successful careers. He's a regular performer at Jazzula, Out to Lunch, Downtown Tonight, and First Night Missoula. Chuck grew up in Detroit in the 1960s, where he played and toured with a variety of diverse groups, such as the Detroit Lions Jazz Big Band, the Detroit Symphony, Brother Jack McDuff, and some of the Detroit's finest big bands. Here he's with the Austin Morrow Big Band. And as many others of this era, he changed his hairstyle often. This photo got my attention. He toured with Mitch Ryder and the Detroit Wheels. You know, for a brief time in my childhood, Mitch Ryder and the Detroit Wheels were the coolest rock and roll band ever. He left Detroit to attend Montana State University in Billings on a music scholarship and immediately developed a lifelong attachment to Montana. After graduating, Chuck taught and performed in Las Vegas and Detroit, but eventually returned to Montana, where he has remained ever since. Chuck's professional career includes performing with such notables as the New McKinney's Cotton Pickers, the Dukes of Dixieland, Buddy DeFranco, the Glenn Miller Band, Curtis Fuller, Joe Williams, pictured here, Roy Haynes, Joe Lovano, James Moody, Richie Cole, Nat Adderley, Larry Coryell, Larry Ridley, Butch Miles, Jack Walrath, Marcus Belgrade, Darren Barrett, Alan Dawson, Maynard Ferguson, among others. He has recorded 2 CDs in his name, Home on the Range, featuring Jackie Byard, and Remembering Jim Pepper, recorded live at the Myrna Loy Theater and featuring the music of Jim Pepper, the late Native American jazz tenor saxophone. Currently, Chuck leads a very active musical life as an on-call musician and performs with many of Missoula's favorite bands. And this includes his 30 years with the Big Sky Mudflaps. He has received the prestigious Montana Arts Council Fellowship Award. He's a member of the Missoula Blues and Jazz Society's Hall of Fame. And for several years, he adjudicated bands at the Buddy DeFranco Jazz Festival at the university. He and his wife, Brooke, continue their outreach to young musicians through a large private music studio. Chuck joins his fellow bandmates Beth Lowe and David Horgan in receiving this award. According to Terry Conrad, he is as broad a musician as there is in Missoula. But these are just words and pictures. I can tell you that I think he's an acrobat with his instrument. But you need to simply bear witness, and you're about to do that right now. Chuck Florence.
Early in the morning.
I would like to thank the Academy. Apparently, as the editor of Vogue magazine said recently, fabulosity has come to be late in life. Actually, I'm very honored, and I would like to thank the Arts Missoula for selecting me for the 2017 Individual Artist Award. A long, long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, Detroit, I made the decision to make Montana my permanent home and have never looked back. I'm happy to be part of the Missoula cultural scene as both a private clarinet and saxophone teacher and professional musician. Missoula embraces the arts and makes it rewarding to be a part of this community. With fellow Arts Missoula Award recipients Beth Lowe and David Horgan, I invite you to sample our jazz at Plonk this Thursday, 8 to 11, and continuing bi-monthly, hopefully through the summer. And I am very honored for this award, and I thank you again for considering me, and thanks a lot.
Business Support for the Arts Award was first granted in 2004. Honors local businesses that have made a significant contribution to Missoula's art and cultural organizations. They include Southgate Mall, Rockin' Rudy's, Dollar Rent-A-Car, Gateway Printing, Allegra Print and Imaging, Alps, the Dana Gallery, Smurfit Stone, Advanced Litho Printing, the Missoulian, First Security Bank, the Trail 1033, the Crossings Restoration and Rehabilitation Project, the Good Food Store, the Missoula Federal Credit Union, the Downtown Dance Collective, and Flanagan Motors. And this year we honor the Downtown Missoula Partnership, nominated by Amy McQuilkin of Betty's Divine. The Downtown Missoula Partnership is comprised of 3 organizations: the Missoula Downtown Association, the Missoula Downtown Foundation, and the Downtown Business Improvement District. And they each play a special role in creating and maintaining a vibrant city center. Through these 3 entities, the Downtown Missoula Partnership creates, promotes, and supports arts and culture in Missoula. In partnership with the City of Missoula, the MDA has built and several times remodeled the Caras Park Pavilion and programs nearly 100 events into that space each year. Some of Missoula's most prominent cultural events are held there, such as Wild Fest, Garden City Brew Fest, Missoula Maid Fair, the Celtic Festival, German Fest, Symphony in the Park, and the Festival of the Dead. They all see Caras Park as their home. In 1986, the Missoula Downtown Association created the Out to Lunch Summer Series under the direction of then director Pat Simmons. One of the first, maybe the first, band to play at Out to Lunch was Big Sky Mudflaps, featuring Chuck Florence. How about that? The goal was to showcase live music in an outdoor environment. And this year marks the 32nd year of Out to Lunch, now Montana's longest standing outdoor music and food festival. The MDA expanded this music and food in the park concept with the Downtown Tonight Summer Series in 2001, bringing thousands of folks to the heart of the city Thursday evenings and creating more opportunities to see live music and enjoy local food and beverage. Missoula's late summer street celebration, River City Roots Festival, was created by the MDA in 2006 to showcase our community's assets: music, art, local food, families, and lifestyles. The admission-free festival welcomes all UM students and their families to celebrate what sets them apart from other Montana communities. In partnership with the Downtown Business Improvement District and the Missoula Public Art Committee, the Missoula Downtown Foundation is responsible for the Play at Missoula pianos, locating several artist-painted pianos out in the public realm for all to enjoy. The Downtown Improvement District has also supported the Public Art Committee's Signal Box project, contributing a portion of its budget to pay the artists. Missoula now has nearly 70 traffic signal boxes designed by local artists. And as many as 17 were located downtown, but now with the recent street upgrade, we're going to be looking for more soon. All three organizations of the Downtown Missoula Partnership contributed to the development of the Missoula wayfinding system and implemented the pedestrian directional signs in 2013. These artistically creative designs highlight our community's assets and help define our sense of place. Other ways in which the partnership supports the arts includes publishing and promoting the self-guided public art walking tour, the children's art projects during the Parade of Lights, street decor, and the soon-to-be the future installation of the parking meter art sculpt project, all created during First Night Missoula on last New Year's Eve, but they're just waiting to go up. Here's the organizational flow chart with the partnership as the umbrella, literally, at the top. Art, music, entertainment, culture, they all set us apart from other communities. The Downtown Missoula Partnership continues to showcase what makes us unique and connects all of us to Downtown Missoula. And representing the Downtown Missoula Partnership is the MDA Executive Director, Linda McCarthy.
Thank you so much. It's such an honor to share the stage with these amazing people. I wish I had been a musician or a teacher or an art curator. We're about place. We're about downtown. And downtown is not just about the dirt. It is about the people. And it is the people that make our community so special. And it is the people who give us the support that we need to make arts and culture a vibrant part of our downtown. And I want to display that a little bit with just a brief exercise, so bear with me if you will. I'd like to acknowledge anybody who serves on the board of directors of any of these three organizations. Would you please stand? This table here, and there's a few others in the room. Stay standing for a moment. If you are a member of the Missoula Downtown Association, will you please stand and stay standing? If you are a downtown business owner, a ratepayer, a BID ratepayer, please stand up. If you have ever contributed to any of our capital campaigns or to the Missoula Downtown Foundation, please stand up. If you have ever sponsored one of our events, and we do 75 events a year. If you have ever been a sponsor of one of our events, please stand up. If you have ever been an artist or a performer at one of our events, please stand up. And finally, if you have ever attended one of our events, please stand up. Nice job, everybody. You are us, and we are you, and it is us who make Missoula such a special place. And thank you so much for your support for the arts. It's a wonderful thing that we have here. On one quick side note, we just got back from Hawaii. I have a 15-year-old daughter. She's a freshman at Hellgate. We got in about 2 a.m. on Thursday night. The first thing she did Friday morning was get up and go pick up a friend of hers, and they went to the Missoula Art Museum for 2 hours. And they hung out there, freshmen, 15-year-olds, for 2 hours. So you're doing something right, and I'm so proud of our community. Thank you.
Cultural Vision Award is given to a person or organization that has developed a special project or program demonstrating unique artistic vision. Previous winners include the YMCA Music Program, Greg Johnson of the Montana Repertory Theater, the International Choral Festival, Kim Anderson of Humanities Montana, Joel Baird of MCAT, MCT Incorporated, and the Clay Studio of Missoula. This year we honor the Roxy Theater, nominated by Jeff Badnock and Laura Millen. The Roxy opened in 1937, 80 years ago this year. For many years it was part of a local movie scene that at one time included the Wilma Theater, the World Theater, the Crystal Theater, the Bluebird Theater, the Fox Theater, and out on Brooks, Cine 3, Village 6, Highway 10 West Drive-In. All of those have either vanished completely or have morphed into something else, but the Roxy remains and has become a singular cultural and community treasure. For the past 80 years, this has been the place of many first dates and many subsequent dates through the generations. When large corporate megaplexes started dominating first-run movies, the Roxy became the home to art and foreign films. In the fall of 1994, fire destroyed most of the building, and it seemed as though the Roxy would go the way of many other such movie houses. But as often happens, disaster provided an opportunity. And in this case, the opportunity was the International Wildlife Film Festival and its desire for a permanent home. Founded in 1977 at the University of Montana, the IWFF has produced an annual wildlife film festival each year since, the first and longest running event of its kind. To this day, it remains an international event with special guests, world premieres, and one of the largest and most diverse audiences in the region, with 6,000 attendees and 2,000 students. In 2002, these two entities joined forces. The renovation of the Roxy was in full swing, and the film festival had found a home. Since then, the Roxy has hosted many other such events, such as the Montana Film Festival, films made in Montana, plus opera and theater in HD with the Met and the National Theater Live. In 2013, Mike Steinberg became the executive director of the Roxy and the IWFF and began to host year-round programming, adding staff, recruiting several hundred volunteers, boosting educational programming, and presenting a full and ever-changing calendar of evening films, a membership program, which is really worth it. I have two words: free popcorn. If you like going to movies, it's definitely worth it. Collaborations with hundreds of community groups in Missoula, nonprofits, schools, businesses, too many to name right now. The Roxy is committed to educational programming and is a major Spark partner. The IWFF goes to great effort to provide a connection to nature for audiences of all ages, working to develop the passion for protecting wildlife and wild places. And now, in yet another public-private collaboration, the Roxy has begun its restoration project known as Redeco. And I want you all to know that you're all welcome to join Governor Steve Bullock this Monday at 11:30. He will be at the Roxy Theater for a major announcement regarding the Department of Commerce and its assistance with this Redeco. That's pretty exciting news right there. That's cool. This year we celebrate 80 years of the Roxy and 40 years of the International Wildlife Film Festival. It's safe to say that the Roxy is a community rock. According to Mike Steinberg, the vision of the Roxy is to make the world a better place through the undeniable power of arts, culture, education, and community. And to quote from Jeff Badnock's nomination, the Roxy invites all of us to express and enjoy an ever-expanding palette of cultural offerings in film, live performance, community caretaking, and the essential act of celebrating life together. That is a great vision. For the Roxy Theater, Executive Director Mike Steinberg.
So I don't prepare anything. I'll just be honest. I put this. I just pulled this out of my pocket, so it looked like I actually had some notes to go by. This is going to be extemporaneous rambling. But then again, I am an accidental arts administrator, like a lot of you in this room. My aspirations in life were more about being a stand-up comedian, actually. Truthfully, so sorry. No, I wanted to be a newscaster, and I wanted to be on 60 Minutes and be a comedian. I was literally, when I was 9 years old, my hero was Andy Rooney. It's pretty pathetic, actually. And nobody knows. I don't know why I'm telling you that. See, I really should have made some notes on this, Tom. You should have given me a note about making notes. No, I do. But I want to really essentially make acknowledgement and some of the acknowledgement is right at the table over here. I want to point out Ingrid Lovett, who should be on the stage with me right now. She's remarkable. The process of leadership, I think, is what we're being honored for as visionaries. To me, leadership is a lot about finding the right people to lead. The arts are 100% collaborative, unless you're a drunk painter in a studio somewhere off in, a loft. And then we'll see what you got, and it'll end up on the wall somewhere, and we'll collaboratively hang your work for you. But we all work together, and that wonderful exercise that Linda did where we all stood up, that's a huge part of the collaboration of art, because, I mean, what if you had a movie theater and no one came, right? You just showed the movie. Would it still look pretty? I don't know what the rest of that is. There's a Zen poem in there, I think, guys. Bear with me. There's nothing on this paper. This is the crazy thing. This is a scavenger hunt that was in my pocket, but I don't think I participated in that scavenger hunt. But anyway, I might go do it later. Some fun stuff to find. I also want to acknowledge our great board. When they hired me 4 years ago, it was really about making the IWFF happen. We were in a kind of a precarious place. We had about 7 weeks to produce a festival, pulled it off with a great group of people, including Chris Sand, a rapping cowboy, which I would encourage you. If you need anything done, you should call Chris Sand, the rapping cowboy. He can make things happen. But we made this film festival happen, and then from there, the vision of what the Roxy Theater could be as an institution, a place for Missoula, a community cinema. And frankly, the board who okayed what we were doing, who believed in what we were doing, I don't think quite fully understood, because we didn't really understand. And some of the response that we've gotten in the last 4 years is a sense that, oh, you're doing something that we didn't really know we needed, but thanks, because we like it. And maybe that's another part of leadership, is just kind of believing in something and then following it. I had a really great friend who was on the board who is entirely responsible for me being here. His name is Cooper Birchnall, and some of you know Cooper, just amazing guy. So Cooper's from Ohio, and I have this Buckeye in my pocket today. I don't know how I got there, actually. And Ingrid said to me on a walk over here, she's like, well, there would be an art house wherever you went, Mike, but the vision is really Cooper. And he really was this massive support, emotionally, spiritually, financially as well, to make the Roxy into what it is. So I just want to just honor Cooper for this.
Well, thank you and congratulations to all. I want to thank our sponsors once again: Montana Event Services, University Center Gallery, Portico Real Estate, Logjam Presents, and Flaherty Financial Services. And before you leave, we do have a raffle, and here comes Gwen. All right, with all the raffle tickets. So we have four things to raffle off. I want to thank, again, all of you for coming out. I want to congratulate the winners. I want to thank our great musicians at the University of Montana's Jazz Program. My picking. If I happen to... The first ticket is 466-496. 466-496. All right, Craig Hunt's here. Thank you. The next ticket is 466. That's, everybody's got that, right? 434. 434. There you go. The next winner is 466. 431. All right. Gary, for the grand prize, 466. 519. 519. Well, the bell rang about 5 minutes ago, so you're all due back in class. Thanks very much for coming today. We'll see you next year.